What's the deal, guys? Welcome to the recap episode of Rules to
Engagement.
Y'all, this has been an awesome season. I remember when we were just on the phone and all of this was an idea and we were like, man, let's do this thing. This is what it could be like. And then we actually made it happen.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
How are y'all feeling right now?
So fulfilled in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Fulfilled from the guests, because the guests, they gave a lot of great information, a lot of great insights from their own unique perspectives and their roles that they play in education. And now I can walk away with some tangible things that I need to do or I need to think about when I go back to my building to continue to make the spaces in my building and the experiences in my building better for my kids.
I love that.
Yes.
I feel pleasantly surprised. You know, you're never really sure how something's gonna land, right? You see folks online, or you hope that something's gonna come off good. Even all this, right? Putting all of this stuff together, you're just not really sure how it's gonna play out. And then when it exceeds your expectations, that has been so fun in general.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's just having us all together and we all bring something special to the table. And it's been nice to see us work together and coming from obviously not all knowing each other. Some of us knowing each other better than others, but coming together and feeling like a team and a family and just rocking out and doing something that we probably last year would have never dreamed of doing.
Right.
No.
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I mean, to me, it feels like a dream and a vision realized, right? There was a whole lot of just possibilities. Man, we could get this guest or that guest, or we could talk about this thing or that thing, and to see what has actually happened. Genuinely, I think more than anything else, I'm proud of us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? I'm proud of us. I'm proud of our team. Shout out Fletch. Shout out DJ. Shout out BJ. Shout out Jeremy. Shout out Q. Shout out Ra. Shout out, you know what I'm saying? We can go on and on and on naming everybody. But it literally was this group project that came together, and I think we hit for an A, man.
Does that remind you of the importance of teamwork when the whole team is solid?
That's right.
Everybody, the details matter. And this is stuff that folks don't know that from watching is everything being taken care of so you can show up and do the work that you've been given to do. It's just such a good reminder going back into school and being who can, not just even looking at what do I need, but who can I help? Who can I help put on? Who can I help their idea come alive, make their lesson even better? Let them go pee.
Yeah.
Can I let you pee, bro? That's the t-shirt. That's the episode.
Not my shirt. Was there any episodes that you guys felt challenged your own thinking and made you shift your perspective?
Immediately, I think of Nick Stone calling me out.
You were saying something about listening to books, audio booking.
Yeah. Yes.
It's ear reading.
I
hear
go
you
ahead,
on
I'll let you
okay,
finish,
no.
please.
So I hear you with regard to literacy, being able to encode and decode words.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
And audiobooks are vital to literacy. And I say that because you're helping a kid learn how to it's called sub-vocalization. So when they're hearing a story, they're having to comprehend, but their ears are intaking commas, punctuation, quotation marks. There's all of these things that are happening when you're listening to a story. So I definitely agree with you that it's not the same as reading from a page, but hearing story is just as vital as being able to read it.
Okay.
And even though,
I sat back and got my popcorn.
she misheard me, but here's what I loved about that moment, and I could feel it when it happened, right?
Yeah.
It was, we're creating that space.
That's right.
Yes.
Where if you do not agree with someone,
That's right.
And we didn't get to have too much of that, right? Because I think because we all vibe outside of this, but if I don't agree, I can bring it up. And then we can have that conversation.
That's right.
And I think that is what really being an active listener, being an active participant in having these conversations looks like. And so I just, as soon as she turned to me, I thought, I love that we're doing this right now. This is something that is a great model for our students and for other teachers to be able to do as well.
Well, and especially because, like you said, you were misheard, right?
Yeah.
And so like the basis of kind of what she was saying was kind of based on a misrepresentation. So it's kind of like how do you navigate a misrepresentation of what you think or what you said without taking it personal, going and derailing the opportunity to like correct the record and
You
and
get
be
students
straight,
like that all
you
the
know?
time, right? Where you have to choose that it's an honor, right? And no, like she is a great guest. We had a great conversation, and I know that some of that is who she is. I'm just glad that she was for real with us.
Yeah, right.
It's an honor.
She was upfront. She was
And what does
she
it say to
wasn't
create a
playing no-
space that somebody's
Yes.
willing to be
Feeling
like, hey,
safe
hold on, let me hey host, let me challenge you on your show about something you say. I think that proves that you're creating a healthy environment for real authentic discourse with everybody. I'm proud of us for that.
Mo, what was the moment for you, girl?
I think it would have to be Dennis.
Every day. We're burying the brilliance of young people every single day. And you have to be so sick and tired of it for you to say to yourself, you know what, we can bring about that level of change. And you're not going to be able to change it on the sideline. You're going to have to get in the game. And so hence, that's why I ran off earlier everything I've done in this profession. In almost 30 years, I've run the gamut. And I don't do it to brag. It's for me to tell you is that every step that I've taken, I knew there was more. I had to do more. As a school aide, it wasn't enough. I got to do more. When I was a teacher, I didn't have enough students. I got to do more. When I became an AP, same thing. So end up now looking across this nation as I've influenced and worked with principals and superintendents in districts across the nation, knowing that I impact hundreds of thousands of people every single day is important to me. But I'm grounded in the fact that I do this work because I understand this is what God has called me to do. There is no other way to say it. This is what God has called me to do. So I can tell you that this work as a mentor is one that's grounded in true faith and understanding that I'm just being obedient right now and just doing what God called me to do.
When he talked about we don't have to be poor. We don't, why can't we be be selfish in a way, because I feel like every educator is mission driven, right? We're all about the mission. We're all about the kids. And when we are all about that, sometimes we are less about us and ourselves individually and what our needs are and what our dreams are and what we would like to achieve in life. And so a lot of times you kind of get lost in other people's missions, right? Or your school's mission. And it's like, but what's your own personal mission? And are you cheating yourself because you're focusing so much attention over here? And you can do both, right? And you can also, and it's not bad to make money off of your talents, off of, your intellectual property and things of that nature. So when I think of that, I think about, okay, being mission driven, but he's like, well, what about your personal mission? What are you about? What is your brand? And can you go forward and then make a living off of that? I have twin boys, and they're like eating me out of house and home already. It's a very real thing.
Yeah.
That I got to think about.
Yep. Lex, did you have something? What do you think challenged you the most?
Challenged me the most? I think for me in general, this whole thing I think is a challenge. Was a challenge for me.
Right.
Being able to speak. I suffer from anxiety and being in these spaces, and I'm the young buck on the squad. So sometimes it's finding my space to speak and challenging myself to use my voice, because oftentimes in school spaces, to keep it 100, some people have silenced me and then I've internalized that.
Wow.
So this was a challenge.
Right.
But I'm happy that all y'all pushed me to be myself, be authentic, share who I am, and be able to oh, okay, Shivy taught me this, so now I can speak up here. Or Mo is this, so let me feed off of her energy. And CJ, he be wilding out, so let me
Let me loosen up a little bit.
let me loosen up, because he's funny and he's charismatic.
Yep.
And all of y'all have pushed me in every episode to be a little bit better than
For
the
real,
first
we
one.
noticed that in you, though.
Yeah.
I think we all know, it's from the Attendathon, your comfort level and putting yourself out there, I think is definitely noticed. And there were a couple of moments when I had a question ready for a guest, and then you jumped in. I was like,
I
all
said-
right,
All right, go get it, girl. Get it, girl.
Yeah. I talk too much anyway. Like, that's a beautiful thing to be able to see.
I agree. Like with Lex, I think it's more on the opposite side, right? So like when you're a person who has like their own platform and you're doing your own interviews and stuff like that, you're not having to share the mic and the floor so much, right? When you're driving conversation. And so there's this balance, right? Of like, you got 4 individuals, we all come from very different backgrounds.
Right.
There were many times where like our follow-up questions were the same.
The same.
We were like wondering the same thing. And it was just a matter of who's gonna get it out first, right? And so I really appreciated being able to share the floor, not having to drive conversation, like to sit back and watch people flourish, watch you and Mo like start leaning in more and more and more. CJ and I, we put up a lot of reps doing lives and stuff like that, right? And so I think there's a comfortability you kind of get from that translates well to this. And so you just get, like I say it like almost every episode, you're good at what you do, right? And so for you guys, you got your reps in, and it's like, can't nobody play with y'all now?
Yeah.
Can't nobody play with y'all?
Where's the audience?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hey!
What about you?
Yeah, look, man, I think more than anything else, I think it's just the fact that as teachers, I think we can create spaces like nobody would ever imagine. And I think we have so much value add to like the general universal discourse around education, around society, around literacy, around child development, so many different things. And I think we're proving to be the evidence that like, hey, listen up, y'all. The future thought leaders are here. Right? The future, the people who are going to be the folks you're going to want to come to talk to when you're dropping that new book, it's right here.
Yep.
Right? If you got that new thing, that innovation in education, or you're that person that's the voice to get people to recenter and focus themselves where they should be, it's right here.
Yeah.
So it's just great. I'm grateful to be a part of something that I believe is going to be like, and it's going to be the pathway for people to be seen, be heard, be validated, be amplified.
But to be able to do that in such a way that you're looking at it from a lens of service.
That's right.
Right? Of like, how can I create something to put folks on? So
That's right.
Case in point, right?
That's
So
right.
like, Miss Sunshine has never done a podcast episode with anyone.
Wow.
She
Right.
does not talk very much on her social platforms.
Yep.
If I was a different person different from online versus in person, and they were like, oh, she's actually like, ooh, then no.
Then no.
But
Yep.
because it has
You're consistent.
I'm consistent.
A real
Who they
person.
see in person is very similar to who I am online.
That's the truth.
They're just
Yeah.
like, oh, this is cool. Like, this is my teacher. And mind you, they're not allowed to sit there on my comment sections and say that they know me. I will.
Yeah.
Oh.
Have you
their
blocked a
protection,
student?
Yeah.
I was just surprised at like how easy that not that she had something good to say.
Yeah.
I just felt like we just knew each other, and
Yeah.
that
Right.
conversation could just flow.
Yep.
But to be able to create a space that you would say yes to when you haven't said yes to anybody
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
That
That
to me
exclusivity.
is like
Speaks volumes.
it is Seth Godin saying people like us do things like this. Teachers like us do things like this.
Yeah.
Creating those spaces, opening up those platforms, and being able to put people on. Because you know what? Some of y'all don't even want to do social media. Some of y'all aren't interested in doing TikTok or Instagram or anything else, right?
Right.
But to be able to have a source to go to where
That's
you
right.
know, like, I trust this source, to be able to be a part of that, bro.
Yep. That's real. I mean, because we are recentering the humanity of educators. And I think that's the important part. There's so much more to us. We are not a monolith. We are not one-dimensional. We have so many facets to our own person.
Yeah.
And like, we're creating a space where we can have a legit conversation. I mean, you still gonna dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you still gonna get this dance,
still
right?
gonna get this
And we still gonna have these laughs, but we're also gonna have those real conversations. And I think those are the things that move the needle. That said, were there any guests that we had where y'all were like, man, we might need to have an episode 2? Like, I just wish we had some more.
I think
Yeah.
a lot.
I know. Look, so on 3. What are you gonna say? 1, 2, 3.
Dennis.
Oh, I was gonna say Nick Stone.
Okay.
We
Nick
were
Stone
not locked
too.
in
But
on
Nick
that
Stone,
one. Not that locked in.
I'm sure
He still got some hurt about Nick Stone.
Nick was talking, and I was processing what she was thinking, and I was like, I know it showed up on camera, where I was like, I need a moment.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I need, because she's so good at what she's doing and articulating what she thinks and feels.
Yeah.
I needed a moment to like sit with that. Like, Paul, can we just pause it for a second?
Yeah.
Let me sit. because I wanted to have a thoughtful response back.
That's right.
Nice.
But Dennis, I didn't know much about. He doesn't play the social game so
That's right.
much.
That's right.
But that dude is so much knowledge that I
Yes.
was like, oh, I'm gonna. And you know, some people just talk like they know buzzwords and buzz phrases and stuff like that. Dennis was. I'm like, you know what you're talking about.
And Beck was the opposite of it. He was like, man, forget all them buzzwords.
Yeah. Let me simplify it, right? That
That
simplifying
part.
thing, like every single problem he said could be handled with a simple solution. Someone's hungry, feed them. I'm like, bro, we need to break. Like, I was ready to like have some, Bible study right there for a moment, but he was something. What about y'all?
Lex, what you got?
I really, really enjoyed Eddie B.
Eddie B?
Oh, man.
Yo, Eddie was good. Yeah, Eddie was really
I
good.
think just the energy, like even if he was just like on the set, sometimes to just that laughter and that joy. Oftentimes, like I think about in the classroom, like if you're not laughing or you don't remember the last time you laughed with your kids and with your coworkers and stuff, then what is we doing?
What is
So what is we doing?
That's
What
a
is we
technical
doing?
term.
No, he was great. He was great.
He was
Yeah.
hilarious. And then of course your moment where you broke out.
Bro, you got sexy. Like, I don't know what.
This is when my wife's watching at home going, you did it again. Been watching this joke forever.
Right. You just gave smoky eye. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You know,
smoldery.
He was smizing.
Smizing.
but you know what's funny about that? I feel like I've met comedians before, and Eddie's
Ever
not.
done stand up?
No, it's called teaching. Periods 1 through 8. But Eddie's not afraid to laugh with somebody.
That's
too.
right.
Yeah.
Right. You know, sometimes you meet like someone and they're like, "No, this is spotlight's on me." No, he said it to all of us last night at dinner. He said it was so nice sharing the light with you today.
Amen.
Bro, and I just thought I caught that spirit, and you had warned me about him ahead of time. You were like, "This dude saw the earth." Like,
Yeah.
He's the real deal.
he's a character on
That's
stage.
right.
He's like, and I'm sure that some of that is real,
Yep.
but he was like, that was one of the cross things too. Was like everyone was legitimately nice,
Yeah.
kind,
Yeah.
and
And
Down to earth.
their authentic
Yeah.
selves.
Yes.
And, their
And
authentic
moreover,
selves.
like, I mean, folks were hanging out.
Yes.
They're hanging in our green room.
Yeah.
They're going out to dinner with us
one just
after.
split. Yeah, like-
nobody bailed. Like, everybody was like, yeah, we're going to catch a vibe with y'all, man.
Yeah.
We chilling. We're going to watch some more episodes being taped. We're going to, like, genuinely,
around.
exactly. And again, that goes back into, like, what type of environment, are we building?
Yeah.
I agree, yo. Eddie B was, like, definitely one of those folks who I was like, oh, I wish we had some more time. Like, can we get you on some more episodes?
Everything that teacher say when the principal say we can leave the meeting early and she raised her hand up anyway, she could have sent that damn email, man. You just made the meeting 30 minutes longer because you ain't got no home life. She got 77
that's
cats. That's the cat lady. She
ate
got
my
45 cats at home.
Yes, facts.
Unregistered, and they don't got papers on them or nothing. And she have all that dander on her work clothes at work. Got everybody allergies.
he was getting more and more into it as we went. Like I felt he was a little reserved in the beginning, and then he was like,
Yeah, that lasted like one question.
And then he was just like,
and then he was
like,
off.
all right, let's go.
Yeah, for me, Tell Williams.
Pre-K kids can ask up to 200 questions a day.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
like,
it?
I want to say it's 200 to 400 per student.
Oh, okay. I was
So
going
you
to say
multiply
that's
that
not
by
enough.
20 kids, and I'm like, I feel like all I'm doing is answering questions all day.
Yes.
Well, I saw something that said teachers make more second-to-second decisions than air traffic controllers.
And it's
For
decision
sure.
fatigue.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't want to think when I get home. That's why I watch garbage TV. I mean, brain rot, Real Housewives, Traitors. I mean, I want nothing to be going on up here.
And what's funny is most of the folks that we had on the show, I've kind of had some personal interaction with, minus like Sunshine. I think was the only one who maybe I really didn't know like that. But Tell, man, listen, to me, he's just one of those very, very authentic humans. And the ability to be vulnerable and talk about being on the spectrum, talk about misdiagnosis, talk about how you bring that
was
into the like
mind-blowing.
that's
That was mind blowing.
Yeah.
The fact that he didn't know.
Right.
Like, I mean, that's like betrayal. I was just thinking about like, well, how do you like what? Like, how did you not know? And then how did your parents not tell you? And you know, I just think about like how that, you know, must have made him feel in that moment. But for him to overcome that, you know, and get in front of a camera and record himself and, you know, make this content and, you know, spread his light with the world, you know, it really is inspiring that, you know, despite difficulties, despite differences, despite what people may see as deficits, you know, people are literally using their deficits. That was one of the themes that I heard, you know, using their deficits or using what other people might see as a deficit as their strength.
He definitely did that.
Yes.
I was surprised by, and because I don't, some folks, you just know him on social media, right? I know that he's a comedian. I know a bit about that. His level of depth, I thought was truly inspiring. Like that he's working in schools and he's doing therapy and he's doing all these things, right?
So much.
But it comes out of this, again, his story didn't crush him, it made him. And being able to use those tools to help others who might be coming up in a similar way, I thought that was really inspiring as well.
I could definitely agree with that. Throughout all of the episodes, is there anything that you guys are most proud of from this process?
I'll tell you what, this is a weird answer, but
that's a way to start an answer. Look, I'm gonna be weird, guys.
What is it, CJ?
I think when Alexia started crying and got real, then I looked to my right, you're crying, in my head I just go, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap for Reynolds.
Then you're crying.
Wrap for Reynolds.
Then Dennis brings out the jacket. I'm like, bro, in the same episode, can we get some handkerchiefs? Like, I'm like, what do I have to wipe my face with? I felt proud of that because, again, it was a moment where it was a level of authenticity you can't manufacture. I'm not that good of an actor, right? To manufacture
it was not
that.
scripted.
And I'm a terrible liar. So it was to be able to have that moment, right? Where we all proud of that, man.
It was very real. For me, I think I'm still processing that moment, right? Like, because, you know, look, OSG is a collective of about 150 educators from across the country, right? And it's just dope to know that like you could really have a village that might not be in your neighborhood. Right?
That is someone needs to hear that again. Your village may not be in your school building, in your neighborhood, in your state, but your folks exist. And it's finding those folks and then do not let them go. You have to hold on to them. That is huge for
and even better when they hold on to you. Right? Especially in times of need. When you go through like heavy grief, like the loss of a parent too soon, the loss of someone very close to you, the loss of a student, the loss of your own child, those type of things, they really resonate for you. And you know, I don't know exactly what this whole grief timeline is going to look like for me necessarily, but you know, I'm at the 2-year mark in my process. And so, you know, at first it becomes like this thing that's a part of like your everyday conversation for some time, right? And then eventually it's not. Right? And then, you know, there are people who are still impacted by the journey they watched you walk. And then sometimes, you know, it's just them kind of reminding you like, yo, I'm still here. Like, even when it's quiet and no one else is paying attention or no one else is making it the main theme, when, you know, it's not popular enough to be the headline on the social media post or on the news cycle like it once was, like, yo, I still remember what you're going through. I still see you. That for me is humanizing. And I think of all the things that we talk about what we're most proud of, man, it is how we have humanized educators and humanized ourselves and humanized our guests. That is, I think, the thing I'm most proud of.
Yeah, that's a team play too. I think it is, I think that's a conversation that folks don't get to see. Like after the show is us going, no, that was all that. It was all that.
It's the connection that we make from everything. And I think that's the most thing that I'm proud of too, is that connection, that love that you just genuinely feel from everybody, having people come out.
Flying
across the country to be here?
Out across the country.
Ohio.
To see my man.
Oh yeah, it was big CJ baby.
Chill, okay?
Big CJ baby.
But it just goes to show like how impactful community is at the foundation and what we can do when we center that and are grounded in that. And if we can do that here then we can do that in your school, in their school, across the country, with all our kids. Like, that's what it's going to take.
Right.
And it's huge that we're having these conversations because we're in it, and how big of an impact that who knows what this will have.
That's it. And like, shout out to Knowledge for even
Come on.
making that happen, right? That someone had the vision to have that happen, that would make people want to fly across the country. Because you know those folks are like, well, how we say on my channel, they're teaching their class off, right? Because they are, it's like, you love this so much, bro, you just took your whole weekend.
Literally.
And you know, I know you had grading to do. I know you're going in with a half-ass lesson plan on Monday. Like, so yeah. What are you proud of?
I think what I'm proud of is I'm proud of all of us because there was a lot of work that went on behind the scenes that I don't think people really know about. You know, from the writing, the developing of questions, Shivy, you know, using that relationship currency to get, you know, some guests on the show. You know, Alexia stepping out and, you know, and also developing a lot of the questions and doing a lot of the writing and, you know, and then CJ, you know, just being CJ, but also being thoughtful and being mindful and always asking the right questions at the right time.
He don't miss.
Like at all. Sharpshooter. He does not miss.
Just on that teleprompter.
But I think what I'm most proud of for myself is that, like, I'm here, I showed up, and you know, I pushed myself to engage in different ways and to ask questions and to answer questions, and you know, because 2 years ago, I would have told you I don't want to talk in front of anybody. And so for this to be principal mode 2 years later is a big win for me. So.
Hey,
let's
go.
What do y'all see as the future of what we're doing? Like, what do you see as coming up that you're like, no, we could do that?
Yeah.
Man, for me, like filling out theaters or venues where we're doing this with hundreds of people watching and engaging in real time. For me, like I genuinely see that as where this should be and where we're gonna go.
We're going on tour.
Come on now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We're gonna pull up on you.
We're going on tour.
Okay. We're gonna pull up on you.
I think it gives a place for people to belong, right? I say it is the ability to take the invisible and make it visible. To bring these, because not everyone wants to do, like I said already, like not everyone wants to do this, but they want to be a part of something that's happening.
That's right.
So what about you, Lex? What do you think of?
I think that the ability to really create worldwide change where educators can have a space to come together, because we're in a time where we need to all be fighting for everything that we need in this country and for educators and for our kids. So I'm excited to see what this brings for the future, how it brings us closer together, and how we build community with so many of y'all, because we need you on our team.
That's right.
Mo?
Well, aside from going on tour, what I see is we are starting a movement of educators who want to re-engage, restore, and reward in different ways, you know, in alignment with knowledge. And that community is going to happen, like, you know, it's going to be online. But I feel like that people saw this and they said, there's other people out there that think like me.
That's right.
There's other people, like this principal is a human being. There's people out there that think like me, and there are people out there that want the same things that I want, because we're all here saying the quiet parts out loud, right? And we're having very real conversations about things that, quite frankly, you can only see on like Twitter and Threads if you see it. So I think that the next thing is this is going to be the beginning of a movement. And that's why when people talk about, like, you know, the Department of Education being dismantled and things like that, I'm honestly not concerned. I'm not concerned, because there are enough of us to move things in a way where education will be where it needs to be. And if we have that community, because community is how in any historical event that has happened, no matter how devastating, community has got those people through. Right. And so as long as we have this community, we're going to be able to move mountains.
Amen.
Like, Mr. Rogers, who I talk about sometimes.
Sometimes.
I think you cosplayed Mr.
Yeah,
Rogers
you
one
definitely-
episode, bro.
It's possible. I'm not saying that's not intentional. But, when Mr. Rogers was a kid, he saw something horrible happen on television, and there was a news report, and he went and he asked his grandmother, what, this is horrifying. I'm scared. What should we do? And she said, Freddie, always look for the helpers.
Yes.
And if you watch any news story and just pay attention to what's happening behind, you will see people showing up to help, to love one another, to bring each other through it. And I think that is,
Yes.
so it's sort of that, it's don't let them take your power away, right? Like you need to understand that this is the work God gave you to do. Yeah. And if God said to do it, ain't nobody gonna tell you not to do it, right? So that's exactly how they said in the Bible too. They said, ain't nobody gonna tell you how not to do it. But it's
I think Peter said that. Yeah.
In the book of CJ.
But that gives me solace too. Like it's like I know what I've been given to do. Like so it'll work out. It will work out.
Yep. Listen, I guess last question, man. If there's one thing that you want viewers to take away from the body of work that we've begun, what would that be?
I'm gonna say, how do we really re-engage our kids? What does that look like? I hope that we have created space that teachers find new ways and helpful tips or practical things that they can do to just re-engage our kids, to get them excited about learning, to work together, and for teachers and students to have that joy and that love for learning.
I think, to move with intention, like not just like with the. Well, I hope for administrators. I'm going to speak directly to administrators.
Talk to them.
And
Talk to
principals
them.
and it's like assistant principals and people who want to move in this space is that you have to move with intention. It can't just be, the teachers are down and, I'm going to do a cart or I'm going to do the bootleg or whatever it is that you're going to do. You have to move with intention. You have to continuously engage your staff throughout the school year. You have to continuously engage your kids throughout the school year, not before the testing time. You have to be intentional about planning. Like, yes, data matters, but when you have relationships, when you have a strong community, when you have intention behind the things that you're doing and everybody understands that intention and that passion and that purpose, everything else will fall into place. And so I think that's the biggest thing, for me.
For me, it's when Dennis said, just stop complicating things.
Yes.
We love to name things and put long definitions on stuff and make it overcomplicated. Your job is to go into school tomorrow, find someone that thinks that they're alone, let them know that they're not. Find a kid that needs help. Look for the kid sitting behind a wrestling mats in the lunchroom that wants to eat lunch by themselves and let them know that they have a place to belong, that you see them, and intentionally build that community. If we want to fight things like chronic absenteeism, failure rates, it's building connection first, connection over content. And when we can do that, kids feel seen, heard, loved, cared for. Bro, tell me you're not going to learn. Tell me you're not going to act right in my class, because I'm there this is all about you anyway. So I think when we can do things like that, that single moment from Dennis was literally worth the evening for me. Finish us out.
Man, I think if there's one thing that I want folks to take away from Rules to Engagement is that, look, we are the village if we want to be.
Yes.
If we want to be. If for us, for Rod to say, look, I got an idea for teachers to have a live audience TV show. And then we could take that into a conversation that becomes a plan, that becomes something we execute, that becomes something we experience. And for me, I look at what we have begun here, and I just know that there is going to be a collective of educators that seamlessly work together for the intention of bettering education for every child in America.
Right.
And I'm proud to be a part of it.
So, look, I'm gonna plug it right now. There are a number of conferences coming up that Knowledge is putting on. If you go to knowledge.io, you are going to get all the information that you have. We want you to be part of the dream team here, right? Like, we realize that community is that you don't go as far as your dream, you go as far as your team. Join us in that. And so, look, y'all, I appreciate everyone sitting here and everyone that came on the show. This was an incredible experience. Shout out to Ra for we wouldn't be sitting here right now if he didn't put us on to this. he and BJ really, I think, made this really come to life. So, any parting thoughts as we're getting out of here?
Man, just listen. Thank you guys.
No.
Right? Thank you guys, because I don't want to do this with nobody else, man. Like, I'm so grateful for this team. Like, I just believe, man,
Amen.
you put up a wall, we running through it.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
But
All right, y'all.
Ladies?
So I think that, season 2, let's manifest that.
Come on now.
Yeah.
And we're going to take this thing on out. Thank you for joining us at The Rules to
Engagement.
That's a wrap.
All right.
Hop down here like Ken and Ivory Wayans. Like, what?